A character named Woo-jin with a rare illness is at the center of the movie. He first learned about the illness that changes his face and body every morning on his 18th birthday. It shocked and confused him at first what was going on. He told his mum Mun-suk that he was sick. She had a hard time getting used to it, finally accepted him as he is. Woo-jin also told his best friend from youth, Sang-baek, the truth, and she did too. Woo-jin learns to accept the truth about himself and learn to live with his strange condition with the help of Mun-suk. Woo-jin wakes up in a different body every morning. Each body is a different age, gender, and country. On some days he's a man, a woman, old, young, or even from another country. For some reason, he can speak a different language every day based on what person he wakes up as. What people see of him is always different, but on the inside, he's the same. He now looks at himself in the mirror every morning and sees a different person. Woo-jin keeps a record of himself by recording himself on his computer every morning. He has to get used with being a different person every day, which makes it hard for him, getting used to his body, vision, voice, etc. Many types of clothes and shoes are in his closet, so they can fit any body. He also has all kinds of products for both men and women. He has a phoropter and a foot measuring gadget that he uses every day to check his eyesight and help him choose the right shoes. Woo-jin and Sang-baek run a furniture business called ALX. They make one-of-a-kind, high-end furniture for each customer. The first one designs furniture, and Sang-baek is in charge of making and selling it. So Woo-jin can work in the comfort of his own home without anyone else finding out about him. Woo-jin met Yi-soo on a day. She is pretty and work. He likes her because she is beautiful, smart, and kind. He starts to see her every day at the shop. He talks to her in a new avatar every time, but she doesn't know it. But Yi-soo would always treat him the same, even though he looked different. Woo-jin waits until he looks good in the morning to finally ask the girl to go on a date. He takes her to the ALX factory for their first date because she has told Woo-jin many times how much she loves ALX goods. They enjoy food and have a good time together. The next day, he asks her to go. Thus, he stays up all night so that he doesn't change into a different person when he meets her in the morning. This goes on for several days, and Woo-jin doesn't get any more sleep as the days go by. They fall in love with each other and can't be separated over time. But Woo-jin falls asleep on the train one day and wakes up as someone else. He skips their date and chooses not to see her ever again because he doesn't want to scare her. He gives in to his feelings, though, and keeps texting her. His furniture is made just the way she wants it, and he sends it to her. The furniture look good in front of her boss. Yi-soo wants Woo-jin to work part-time at his place of business as a girl so that he can be close to her. He makes friends with her and asks her to dinner after work. He gets the courage to tell her the truth about who he is and his situation when they get to the ALX factory. He gives her the movies that he made on his laptop, and in them he talks about her. He tells her about how they changed their minds about old furniture, guitars, and music over dinner. And Yi-soo doesn't believe it. She thinks it's a sick joke being played on her. She storms out of the building and tells Woo-jin not to call her again. That's when Woo-jin starts to cry and feel hopeless. Soon, Yi-soo starts to miss Woo-jin and thinks about what might have happened if he was telling her the truth. She thinks of him every day when he gave her. She finally makes up her mind to meet him one day and stops by his house. Woo-jin answers the door as a girl, and they eat dinner together. Woo-jin tells her about his illness, and Yi-soo chooses to sleep with him to see how Woo-jin changes when he wakes up. Woo-jin tells her more about his illness and how he deals with it before going to sleep. He tells them that he is 29 years old. Even though he was okay with his situation before he met her, it's become even harder for him to deal with since then. He tried to stay away from her, but he couldn't help himself. When Yi-soo wakes up the next morning, the girl she had dinner with the day before is sleeping next to her. She lets Woo-jin sleep while she looks at his shoes, clothes, and videos on his laptop. Woo-jin wakes up as a boy every time. Yeon-soo starts to believe what he says and accept him for who he really is. When they start meeting every day again, Woo-jin is thrilled to see the girl he likes after more than a week. They talk about silly things when they go to different places. It doesn't bother her that Woo-jin wakes up as a middle-aged man some days and a kid other days. Woo-jin, on the other hand, feels safe around her and hasn't been alone in a long time. Woo-jin holds Yi-soo's hand to let her know it's him, so they can find each other in the crowd. He is spending a lot of time with Yi-soo. He doesn't do as much work. Sang-baek starts to say bad things about how he's not paying attention to his plans. Woo-jin tells him that he will put his energy back into work. Yi-soo tells Woo-jin about a new idea because he is having trouble at work. She tells him to start the second ADX line with normal sizes and prices that aren't too high or too low. This would invite more people into the world of ALX and help the company grow. The fact that Woo-jin likes the idea shocks Sang-baek, since Woo-jin always turns down new ideas from him. Yi-soo's furniture shop has a party one day, and Woo-jin is invited. Yi-soo's boss can't wait to meet her boyfriend from ALX. It interests her to meet him too, since different people have different ideas about who Yi-soo's boyfriend is. Too bad as an old woman on the day of the party. He goes back to sleep and, luckily, wakes up looking like a good man. Woo-jin finally gets to the party. To let Yi-soo know it's him, he holds her hand. It's finally okay for Yi-soo to want to meet her boyfriend, and she and her boyfriend have a great time at the party. Woo-jin takes Yi-soo to see his mom Mun-suk at her shop the next day. Mun-suk is glad that her son has met someone he can love forever. She hopes that they won't hurt each other and sends her best wishes. Their lives aren't always sunshine and flowers. Yi-soo gets mad at Woo-jin one time when he takes her hand in a crowd, which scares her. He says sorry and swears not to do it again when he sees how hurt she is. After seeing how much they love each other, Sang-baek asks his friend why he hasn't asked Yi-soo to marry him yet. It was also Woo-jin's idea to ask her to marry him, but he had never decided for sure. With Sang-baek's support, he chooses to ask Yi-soo to marry him. He does a lot of work to make sure she gets the perfect ring. At the same time, Yi-soo starts to get bad press when people see her with a different guy every day. This starts to hurt her mental health, and she starts to forget things more and more. She deals with her worry, stress, and trouble sleeping. In the middle of all this, Woo-jin talks to Yi-soo about marriage. As expected, she doesn't want to get married right now. She tells him that he should think about a lot of things before they get married. She tells him that every morning when he looks in the mirror, he needs time to accept himself, check his eyesight, and find out how big his feet are. She also needs time to think about all the different people she wants to marry. Also, she has no idea how she will introduce him to her parents. Woo-jin is really upset by Yi-soo's answer, but it looks like they are reading two different books. He thought they were on the same page. A lot of pills because the change is too much for her. She gets sick and is taken to the hospital right away. Woo-jin finds out that she has been taking risperidone pills to help with her worry and lack of sleep. In another message, Yi-soo's therapist tells her not to see Woo-jin for a while to protect her mental health. Woo-jin is shocked by all of these new facts. He doesn't know if she didn't tell him or if he was just too blind to see that Yi-soo was hurting in silence. He finally comes to the realization that he was the one who was fooled by his own imagination. Woo-jin goes to see his mother because he can't think of a way out of this situation. Mun-suk tells him that she knew this was going to happen someday. Yi-soo will be okay as long as Woo-jin and her aren't together, she tells him. Woo-jin is confused and asks her what she means. Then she tells him that Woo-jin got this condition from his dad. Mun-suk loved Woo-jin's dad very much at first, but then rumors spread. They said she was cheating on her boyfriend. She tried to forget about it, but Woo-jin's father disappeared one day. He wrote her a letter to say sorry for making her life so hard. The news makes Woo-jin cry, and he starts to think that he might have to leave Yi-soo for her own good. Yi-soo leaves the hospital, and Woo-jin breaks up with her the last time they see each other. He tells her to stop taking the pills before he leaves her life. Yi-soo is very sad about the breakup, and she thinks about Woo-jin all the time. 10 months have gone by. Yi-soo no longer needs pills to sleep, but she still misses Woo-jin very much. One day, Yi-soo's boss shows her furniture designs from a website in Czech and asks her to find the designer's contact information. Yi-soo thinks that Woo-jin made those drawings because they have his signature style. After that, she goes to Sang-baek's office to meet him. Sang-baek, on the other hand, is rude to her and won't talk to her about the drawings or Woo-jin. Before she leaves, Yi-soo sees a cargo box in Sang-baek's office that was sent from the Czech Republic. This makes her even more sure that Woo-jin is in the Czech Republic. When Yi-soo realizes that being away from Woo-jin hurts her more than the rumors spread by other people, she takes a plane to the Czech Republic. The website's address is answered by a Korean man who is not known. He says he doesn't know anyone named Kim Woo-jin, but Yi-soo wants to see the man's furniture collection for her store. Inside, she sees shoes of different sizes and genders, which makes her even more sure that the man is Woo-jin. He started working in the Czech without any identity again. He hears how much she loves him and knows she wants to spend the rest of her life with him. Because he doesn't want to make her sick again, he tells her he is Woo-jin. Yi-soo tells him that she knows being with him will be hard, but she really doesn't want to be without him. They both start to cry. After calming down, they go for a walk in the capital of the Czech Republic, which is very pretty. Yi-soo tells him she loves the Kim Woo and doesn't mind if he changes every day. She tells her how she realized it was him all along. At the end of the movie, Woo-jin finally puts the ring on her finger that he had made earlier in the movie. And after all, she accepts and embraces all his forms, which are all the same and beautiful from the inside. Turn on and leave a like to help the channel. Follow the link to see more movies like this. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.
Goodbye. Peace out.
Spread positivity.